Hello, hello. Happy day for 100 days to believing bigger. All right, this one is releasing perfectionism. And before we go into that, I want to back up. So, yesterday was about perfect timing. Day 3 was about perfect timing. And I typically journal every day and write a letter to God. Well, I did it on the first, I didn't do it on the second, and I didn't do it on the third. And so I had been praying about certain things, and guess what happened? You guessed it. Those prayers that I have been asking God for were in my readings on the second and the third. So that just goes to show you that probably doing my reading every day instead of skipping days would make my life a lot simpler. How about you? All right. Perfect timing. Trust in the Lord. Oh, that was yesterday. Sorry. I still love that verse. Okay. Releasing perfectionism. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Your mercy, O Lord, endures forever. Do not forsake the works of your hands. And that's Psalms 138:8. And basically, it is talking about how we tend to trust ourselves or others instead of truly putting all of our trust for everything into God's hands. And I personally believe that's because we're human, right? And we are born of sin. And even though we have, accepted God into our lives, and we have also um, been redeemed and sanctified, which is a new word for me, um, but it does talk about that God wants better and bigger for us always. And I guess the question becomes, do you really believe that? Because I believe it, but sometimes I forget it. One of the examples of perfectionism for me is I will do invitations in my business. For example, I did the invitation to our Mary Kay celebration, the 59th year on September 13th. Okay, my former assistant, which was this fabulous high school gal who was very, very sharp, very, very quick, and I would just tell her what I needed, and she would whip it out like in 5 minutes. Well, me, because of my perfectionism, it took me over an hour to do that invitation. Okay. Nutso. So I basically spent 55 minutes doing that when I could have been done doing something else, a lot more productive, like reaching out to women for their facials anyway, you get my point. All right. And so the question is, have you been worried about something that is going to work out? And just like I mentioned, my prayers were answered in my readings. That's how fast God worked. But I didn't get the message for 2 whole days because I didn't do my reading. And he talks about how, or she also asks the question, how does worry lead you to meddling and make things happen as opposed to trusting God to work things out? And again, I talked about that yesterday about reacting most of the time it's reacting, it's not responding. When I tend to respond, things go a lot better. But when I snap and react, which I was guilty of a couple of times last week with my texting, and those don't always work out too good, right? And then as soon as I send it, I'm like, dang, can I recall that? I did the same thing with an email, and I did the same thing with text. I'm like, can I recall that? Apparently not. All right. So that is day 4. So what are you worried about? What is on your list of things that you want to work out? And just journal about that. All right. Our prayer for today is, Lord, your ways are marvelous and soaked in significance. When your hands touch my life, failure is impossible. Thank you for replacing my perfectionism with your perfect will and way. Well, I trust that you have invested in this fabulous little book. I'm guessing you could probably even download it in one of the apps if you don't want the paper book. But then, be sure and journal, because to me, when we write, it goes from our hand all the way up to our heart. And that's where we can release a lot of our anxiousness and a lot of our worry and by just writing. So I hope y'all have a great Sunday. It's Labor Day weekend and it's very beautiful here in Texas, in Louisville. And I think I'm going to work in the yard. So have a great day. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Bye.